So, Monique, I have to ask, the reason why you're selling or you're going to be putting out vinyl singles, is it because you think that records sound better or because now that's the
Oh,
tangible?
all
No,
right.
it's because I'm a record collector and 7 inches are highly collectible. And
Okay.
as
There you
someone who
go.
collects and respects the
That's
art
the
form of
reason.
the vinyl my whole life, that's why. It's for the collectors, but also because, I want to be able to release singles and then have something to show for them. And then when we have
Yeah.
like a 5 song EP, yeah,
Mhm.
we'll put it on the CD. People buy them for the artwork, really. They don't have anything
Yeah.
to play that shit
Right. So why not give them bigger artwork
or a
I was
cassette
and a
or,
collectible? Yeah.
just curious because I do have friends that are like,
But because you're anti,
I'm not okay. I am not anti
you have a
tangible.
hot take.
I'm not anti tangible, right? I love artwork. I love reading liner notes.
Mm-hmm.
I love who contributed to this record.
Yes.
Who contributed to make this? I love the artwork. I love all that.
yeah.
But if you're gonna tell me that the record sounds better than any other medium, I'm gonna go Fooey.
Well, it's got to be mixed for the medium. Like, for instance, my original, like, Diamond Dogs record,
Mm-hmm.
needs to be played on vinyl because it was mixed and mastered for vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be heard through a record player. Now, in the 90s, we were all putting out CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So we mixed and mastered digitally for CDs.
The fact
But-
that there's a different process for both tells you right there that there's a different sound for both.
But you guys say
Otherwise, they
that.
wouldn't. Otherwise,
guys
they
say
would.
that.
There would be no difference in the mastering process.
But how many bands do you think? We're talking modern, right? You aside, right? How many bands are going, hey, we should have this remixed to go on record versus bands that are going, hey, records are a thing again. Let's go print one.
Well, I would hope, and I'll just jump.
I would
in.
hope.
I would think that if anybody cares at all about their art and about how they're putting out their music, which is their most personal possible thing,
Mhm.
that they're going to say, what's the best way I can put this out? And it's not just a cash grab,
Right.
is what I think.
Yeah.
I would like,
Yeah.
and so I think more than art, honestly. I think if the label is making all those decisions without the band involvement,
Yeah.
then the label might just be going like, whatever. But even in that case, I think they would say remix it for vinyl because then they can charge the band again. So I think,
I didn't think about that. Okay.
yeah,
Right.
Okay.
that's what I think. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Mo?
I think labels they're looking at the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
For them, it's really just about how profitable is this going to be for us. It's a profit-making machine.
Yeah.
When you have artists who are managing themselves, who are not signed to major labels, they're making more decisions based on the art itself, I think. At least that's true for me.
Yeah.
I love looking at 7-inch art or at a full-length vinyl, like with the art and the liner notes and everything.
Yeah.
I frame records. I have records framed in my home, ones that
Yeah.
I find particularly beautiful. They're art pieces. And for me, that's really special. So, more special than an 8-track or a cassette tape. Even though cassette tapes I used to lay around and open
they're fun.
booklets and read all the small writing.
Right. Yeah.
But
Well, I think there was a point, and I think probably I don't know about you. You're a little bit younger than me, but I know for me, and I'm not sure for you. Maybe not. But there was a point in time with music where there was just like, if you got a record, you listened to it from front to back, you read every liner note, you read every lyric, you brought your friends over, and then you like read the liner notes to them. You gave them the artwork to look at. You talked about it. You talked about who was on it. Like, there was so much that went into, there was an interest in what all went into this and what everything means. You know, like, I can remember, and I'm okay dating myself with this, but I can remember thinking that the inside cover of Appetite for Destruction, with the weird machine thing and the girl lying down and the blades and all that kind of stuff, that I was told was like, this was gonna be the cover, but it was too crazy, so they didn't do it. Like, that was a thing that made me go like, oh man, and then they put it on the inside, and that's awesome, and that's super cool. So there was a story that went with a record or a release.
Right.
There was like a whole kind of like lore that went into it that I feel like got lost, and I think now is maybe coming back around again.
Yeah.
That I think makes some of that stuff more important. Some of that artwork, some of that, like, I think all of that, it makes a record more interesting. It really does. Like,
It truly does.
we listen to a record, sure, but I think if we take music and we make it only about what the BPM is, and put it in our background, and maybe once in a while a lyric will hit us and we'll say like, oh, that's my favorite song now. Like, I think that diminishes the whole thing. And I think if we look at music and go, there's a story behind this whole record, you know, like, oh my God, did you know that this person was doing this in the vocal booth with this person, and this happened, and all this kind of stuff, and do you know that, like, on the Aerosmith record, Steven Tyler didn't have a shaker, so he used sugar packets and created a shaker up against the microphone for this. Or you can hear all these things, and then it makes you go in and you listen to the song differently, and you go like, oh, I heard it, and it makes you feel like you're part of it. And I think like there was a long period of time where the encouragement to be part of the backstory and part of the process and included was not even kind of a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we're getting back into that.
Yeah.
And I think like releasing vinyl is part of that, because it creates at least a story. It creates
That's a
like,
very
oh
good
man,
point.
they're doing vinyl. Cool. Why are they doing vinyl? It anything that encourages
Instead of just,
a
instead of
question.
hearing it on a Spotify playlist,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
just
Like,
it
I-
just comes and goes so quickly when you're actually buying a vinyl.
Yeah,
Sure.
you buy a vinyl because you want to listen to the whole thing. There's a reason to get it. Or even if you're not going to listen to it and you're just going to look at the artwork, at least you're connecting what you're listening to with something that you're seeing, so more of your senses are involved.
Yeah.